Hello, fellow residents of Tamriel. It is the Beeve, and we are coming back once again for another build video for Update 33 Ascending Tide that is coming out here in another month or so. They just updated the PTS servers today, and they haven't added any new nerfs or anything, so everything we have went over here should still be good for when it's finalized and goes live. Today's build is a Stamina Dragonite. And this build is a little bit more unique. We're doing something a little bit different with this build than we have been previously. This will be the first stamina build that I am using dual wield instead of the two-handed. So, to start off, if you guys have been watching the videos and you do like them, please give them a like and, give me a subscribe. That would be wonderful. The more likes and subscribes we get, the more people that this can reach and help in the long run. So let's dive right into this real quick. Let's go into our inventory. So we are using the Vatashrin Perfected Daggers. The main hand I'm using infused with a flame damage glyph on. And the offhand is Nirnhoned with a poison damage glyph on it. These perfected Vatashrin daggers turn the hidden blade ability from the dual wield line into an execute for the most part. Up to 250% more damage to targets under 100% health when you are standing behind them. That is the only thing with this build. You do have to be standing behind the target for this to work. Now, it's still going to do good damage if you're not standing behind the target, but it's not going to reach its full potential. So this build, you may want to trade out the daggers for like the Kinross set and put a monster helm back on to offset not being able to get behind the target. But for this set, we are using these perfected daggers. We are using the Maelstrom Perfected Bow. This is infused with a weapon damage enchantment on it. Since we are using two ability altering weapons, we are not using a monster helm. We are using Kinra's helmet, Kinra's arm cops, and we're mixing those with the jewelry pieces. The jewelry pieces are all in Bloodthirsty with a weapon damage enchantment on them. Everything else is Reliquins. Perfected version. If you don't have the perfected versions of these gears and weapons and whatnot, the non-perfected versions are still going to work. It's just not going to put out as much damage, but it's still going to be pretty good, plain and simple. But the perfected Reliquins is what we're wearing as well. All of our body pieces are in Divines, and all of them have maximum stamina glyphs on them. And I am using the daggers for the extra, the daggers for the extra crit possibility, or the crit rating from the dual wield passive. As you can see in our stat sheet here, we are running with 18,000 maximum health. This is a Dark Elf. If we would have went with a Orc, we could have had a little bit more maximum health, right around the 20k region. Probably a better choice, to be honest with you, would be the Orc for the extra health, but this Dark Elf works pretty good as well. Maximum stamina sits at 32,205. Our weapon damage is at 4,259. Weapon criticals at 52%. Small amounts of penetration. Penetration is not very high, but in the right groups that doesn't matter. Spell resistance is 14,579. Physical is 14,579. All of our points are in stamina. We're using Lava Foot, Soup, and Saltrice for the max stats and the max recovery off of it. We are using the Thief Mundus Stone. Now, when it comes to the health being at 18,000, if you wanted to use Artaeum Takeaway Broth or Dubious Camoran Throne, you're going to get more max health out of it. You're going to trade off having a little bit lower maximum stamina and a little bit lower stamina recovery in this situation. And this build can be a little bit of a pain in the butt to keep up your Magicka, at least for the first 50% on the target. After that, you'll see how much of a breeze it is. Mainly because these Vateshran daggers, one of the other things they do is it restores, 1,398 stamina if the target was below 50% health. So it literally returns half the cost of the ability at 50% and below. So sustain gets so much easier after that 50% mark. It's not terrible above it, as long as you are, you gotta mix in a heavy attack every now and again and hit your ultimates at the right time to keep your resources up. Skills here, this is a pretty involved rotation, to be honest with you. We're using Endless Hail, we're using Barbed Trap, we're using Eruption. This is a nice little ability, it hits pretty decently, and it costs Magicka, so this doesn't drain from our resource pool, our stamina pool. And as you can see, it does like 7 grand when on the initial hit, and then almost 1,600 a second for 18 seconds after it. That's pretty big for using something that's only going to cost us 378 Magicka per second that it's activated, and doesn't pull from our main pool either. Resolving Vigor here for the heal. I do have Flames of Oblivion on both bars, basically, just for that Major Prophecy and Major Savagery for the weapon and spell critical. Not activating it on this bar, though. I do have Flawless Dawnbreaker here. This is just a goof around ultimate. It's hardly ever used. On the back bar, I have Flames of Oblivion. This is where we will be activating this ability. We have Venom Claw. We have Shrouded Daggers. This is that ability that turns into an Execute because of the Vateshran weapons. We have Noxious Breath. Now we have this Molten Whip back here. We're never going to use it, but what this does is when you activate an Ardent Flame, a different Ardent Flame ability, you get a stack of Seething Fury, increasing the damage of your next Molten Whip by 33%, and it stacks your weapon and spell damage 75 for 10 seconds. So you can get an extra 225 weapon and spell damage stacked for 10 seconds for doing this rotation the way that we do it. We never activate this, it's just here for that extra little boost in our spell and physical, or our spell and weapon damage. And then we have our Standard of Might. This is our go-to ultimate. It works for trash mobs, it works for boss fights, it works for everything. It's just heavy hitting right here. Little over 4k damage per second for 20 seconds. That's a ton of damage, first off. And then standing in the area increases your damage done and reduces damage taken by 15%. And it provides that shackle synergy that is a 10k synergy for anybody standing close enough to hit it in your group. This rotation, how we do this is we are going to, when we come into the fight, I'm gonna use this Flames of Oblivion 3 times in a row just to get that Seething Fury stacks up. Then I'm gonna bar swap and start my rotation. So I'm gonna have my Endless Hail, then a Light Attack, Barbed Trap, Light Attack, Eruption, and then we're gonna bar swap, and it's gonna be Light Attack, Venom Claw, Light Attack, Flames of Oblivion, Light Attack, Noxious Breath. After we've hit all 3 of these, we got that extra 200 weapon and spell damage because of this Molten Whip being slotted right here. And then we just start hitting these Shrouded Daggers. We're going to hit 7 Shrouded Daggers in a row with light attacks between all of them. Then we're going to bar swap and start over. So, just to make it simplified here, Endless Hail, Barbed Trap, Eruption, bar swap. Venom's Claw, Flames of Oblivion, Noxious Breath, 7 Shrouded Daggers in a row, start over. You got to make sure you're light attacking between each one of those abilities to get that extra damage out of it. Champion tree, we have 50 points in steadfast enchantments, so we're not recharging our weapon all the time. Treasure hunter for finding more or better quality loot in chests. That's slotted. I have rationer slotted for more time on my food eaten. I have liquid efficiency slotted for a 10% chance not to consume a potion or poison when used. And we have Steed's Blessing. Gives me 20% more movement speed. This is slotted. Over in our blue tree, we have our Quick Recovery, Elemental Aegis, Preparation, and Hardy all filled in. We have our Timeless Discipline. We have our Eldritch Insight. We should have this Blessed on, actually, too. Healing done, may as well. We heal ourselves, and that buffs what we heal. Precision. I have Backstabber, and I have Fighting Finesse, both slotted. I have all of this filled in. Like, since we're a Stam character, we want the Battle Mastery, we want the Mighty, and we want the Piercing. We want all of these filled in. But because I'm using that the Eruption and that Flames of Oblivion, these Flawless Ritual and War Mage increase the damage on those as well. We have our Deadly Aim slotted. We have our Master at Arms slotted. In our Fitness tree, we have Rejuvenation for more magic health and stamina recovery. We have Fortified for more armor. We have Boundless Vitality for more health. All three of these are slotted. We have our Tumbling and our Defiance filled in. We have our Mystic Tenacity filled in. We have our Hero's Vigor filled in. We also have our Piercing Gaze and Tempered Soul. All those ones we just went over don't have to be slotted to be active. Now, we do have Bloody Renewal slotted. This gives me back stamina for every enemy that I kill. So this is good for your arenas and things like that. We have Wind Chaser line. We got the Hasty filled in. We got the Sprinter filled in. We have Timeless Guardian. We have Savage Defense. We have Fortification. And then we got 6 in Nimble Protector. All the ones that, all the extra ones, if you don't have the points for them, don't worry about slotting them. But if you have the points, there's no reason not to, or don't worry about filling them in. But if you do have the points, then there's no reason not to fill them in. Alright, so with all that gone over, we're going to go ahead and do this parse real quick. You can fast forward through this if you like or whatever, but when we finish this up, we'll take a look at the combat report, go over it a little bit, and then we will wrap things up. So, see you guys here in a minute. And there you have it. 92,121. It is a very good build. Like I said, the ability to get through the first 50% of the parse is kind of important. You gotta, like, I had to mix in a heavy attack, I think, 3 times. But understanding what times to place your ultimates to keep your resources as buffed as possible, because the Dragonite, when you drop an ultimate, it gives them back health, magicka, and stamina. So dropping ultimates at the right times, plus especially that standard of might, gives you back a lot of resources. So it's a good resource pool regenerator. So let's check out our damage report. So, as you'll look here, the Shrouded Daggers definitely did the most damage. Well, we were spamming that crap out of that ability right there. It averaged 47k. It maxed out. We had it hitting at 97k. The light attacks came in second place. They averaged 14k and maxed out at 23. Arms of Reliquin came in behind it with 7,500 damage. Eruption came in behind that with 7,400 damage. Endless Hail, 62. Venomous Claw, 61. Flames of Oblivion, 61. Standard of Might, 43. Noxious Breath, 41. Just, you see everything that's going on right there. Very hard-hitting tune, and if you're a Dragonite person, it's pretty cool. Now, like I said before, this only works if you can stand directly behind the boss. If you're going somewhere where you can't stand behind them, like Sunspire or something like that, definitely switch this up. You don't want to try that. But that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you very much. Until next time, guys, happy adventuring.